What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Robosen Transformers auto-converting Bumblebee. So this is the third, I think, Robosen that I've looked at, and this was sent to me by Sam Scott Roberts. Thanks for allowing me to take a look at your copy. And I actually really like this, how this looks. The alt mode so far is my favorite one. I just think they really nailed the look of the vehicle mode and the robot mode as well. But I like this especially. This is actually the second Bumblebee that they made. They made one that was not auto-converting. It was just a robot mode. And I didn't really love that one. I just didn't like how it looks. This one, though, I think they really nailed it. Let's go over some of the details. You got a bumper here just done in black. You have the headlights with chrome and translucent for the headlight. Silver here. Chrome wheels with rubber tires. It does have the VW logo in there, which is very cool. Chrome door handle. Rubbery rearview mirrors with mirror actually material on it. On the back, we've got the taillights done in translucent red, silver, and then a rubbery bumper here, I guess just in case he bumps into something. This ends up not on the feet, but on his back. You have a wheel here of spare tire, which it's got a USB-C port on the back for charging. I do recommend you charge it fully before you use it, just so it can do all the stuff it needs to do. And yeah, overall, a nice looking vehicle. Here's the bottom. Cleans up very well. To turn it on, you're going to come to here. There's a panel, so you can lift up on this. You'll see two buttons there. One of them is to pair with the Bluetooth, which I've already done. So I downloaded the app from the Play Store, or if you're on an iPhone, you can get it from iTunes. And then the other button is the power button. So you have to hold it down for a few seconds. So let's do that now. And he will acknowledge that he's turned on. You'll see the lights turn on.
Hiya, friend. Bumblebee here.
All right, once you hear him say that, then you know he's ready. He usually adjusts his motors and servos and stuff. You do get a quick start guide that has some of the commands built in right here, so you can use those. And there's a couple of things you can do in the vehicle mode. Namely, you can control it. Without the app, you can still control it through voice. So let's just set him here and ask him to move. Hey, Bumblebee.
How's it going?
Move forward. And don't worry, I had my hand over there to make sure it didn't fall. Hey, Bumblebee.
How's it going?
Move backward.
Watch it.
He can also turn and turn around. You know, actually didn't say, hey, Bumblebee, turn around, but he just tried to. So he can do other commands. Now, the greatest part of this figure is its transforming gimmick, that it can turn into the robot mode by itself. And I had the privilege of meeting, or at least seeing, Dan Gilvezan, who is the voice of Bumblebee. I don't know if I said his name right. He was actually at BotCon 2025 over in Indiana.
How's it going?
I didn't say your name. And this had just come out. It was a pre-production sample. And the guy who runs that show, his name is Derek, he got a copy so that Dan could play with it. And I just snapped a picture because I thought it was such a cool moment seeing him play with it. I mean, it looked like he was having a good time, but also the fact that his voice was part of it, you know, it was a really cool moment. So yes, it is voiced by the actual voice actor from the show, which is another cool thing about it. But let's get it transformed, because that's the big deal with it. Hey, Bumblebee.
How's it going?
Transform.
Bumblebee reporting for duty.
All right, there is Bumblebee in robot mode. And I really like how this looks. And they very clearly went after this MP21 Bumblebee. It looks a lot like him. The overall sculpt and details, just the way it transforms, the backpack and everything. It really nailed the look on at least this figure. It does come with a gun, a blaster, done in this gunmetal color. It can't be turned on. If you want to change out the battery, you pull this up, pull off the front, and then you can undo this screw and replace the battery. But luckily it comes with the battery installed, so you can push back on this button. That'll turn the gun on. I can give that to him, and now he has a weapon. I think this looks awesome. I love that they used this design. This is one of my favorite Bumblebee designs, so I'm glad they used it. And if you leave him long enough idle, he'll start doing this. He'll start breathing. I don't know. I find it weird that robots are breathing, but whatever. So let's do a couple commands here before we get into the app. Hey Bumblebee.
How's it going?
Introduce yourself.
Hey, my name's Bumblebee, a Decepticon's worst nightmare. Come on, guys. There's a battle out there. Let's team up and take down the Decepticon.
All right, now let's get into the app. So if you download the app, it starts up like this. It says Robosen, the robot company. And then you hit connect. If you've already done the Bluetooth, it'll connect automatically. If you haven't, you'll have to hit that Bluetooth button in there and then pair it. I hit connect. He'll acknowledge it.
Okie dokie.
So now he's connected. And in the app, here's the different things you can do. You can actions, you can create, and there's a mini theater. So we go to actions, action center. There's actions that require the weapons and actions that don't. So one of my complaints with Robosen has been that sometimes it's not easy to tell which ones you should remove it, and it ends up colliding. That happened with Grimlock. But let's try some of the weapon actions. So we'll try open fire.
Prepare for battle. How's this?
Pretty cool. And then we'll try mission.
That robot is out of control. I'll stop him. Woohoo! Put a big check mark in the mission complete column.
And we also get some actions you can download yourself. So you go to download, it shows you all these different ones that they've made available. If you click on one, it'll show you a preview of kind of what it does. So I've downloaded a few. So if I go back to my actions, downloaded, it shows the ones I've downloaded. So we'll try scanning the environment.
Hey, my circuits are overheating. The Earth will heat up again. We need to get to the Arctic Circle.
And then we'll try losing control, which I thought was really cool. All right, that is pretty cool. You can also make your own, so you can program your own if you go to manual or block-based, you can program your own actions. And that's pretty cool. I prefer to just download them, but you have the option. So let's do a couple more. You can also control the robot. There's a control center where you can control the direction. You can also transform it. So this will make him walk or backwards. It's a little slow. You can go to the side. That's pretty cool. And then you got this little gun action. Let's see. And then we've got one more. It does end up changing direction sometimes, depending on the move that you pick. All right, we'll do one more, which is a vehicle mode action. So let's get him transformed. I think he will automatically transform when we get him given the command. So this is called rhythmic stance. He's kind of inching forward. And this particular one, I don't think this is across all of them, but this wheel sometimes gets stuck. I've noticed that depending on the move that you do. But it's just so cool that they came up with a dance for him in vehicle mode. All right, before we get out of here, I just wanted to show you, I did program a block-based action. It's very simple. It just, raises up the gun, but I want to show you it's possible. And you can add things like sounds and stuff to it, and that's cool. But let's do the final recommendations here for the Robosen Transformers Auto-Converting Bumblebee. I still have mixed feelings on all these things. This one is a little tougher for me because I've loved the way the robot mode looks. I like that they use the model from MP21 Bumblebee. I just like the way this looks in general. Both robot mode and vehicle mode. The gun is pretty cool. The sounds, especially the voice from Dan Galvezin, is top notch. They just went all out with the effects and the sounds and all of that. Lights also are very impressive. But there are some things that they still haven't remedied. And these were complaints from the very first Robosen I looked at. And that has to do with the shutdown. Turning it off and turning it back on. So one of the things that I have an issue with is when you turn it off, it crumples over. You can't display it like this. And as a collector, somebody who spends a lot of money on Transformers, I like to display my Transformers. You can kind of transform it into vehicle mode and display it that way, although it does kind of sag in the middle because the motors kind of relax. But in robot mode, there's no way to display it. That seems like a fatal flaw. That seems like something they should have figured out by now. Another thing, also, when you shut it down, I'll just show you, is it kind of just crumples. And if you don't get it into a position where it can actually stand back up, it will malfunction and it could break. And that's something that really frustrates me is it shouldn't turn off and then turn back on into a position that could break it. Right? Those are just normal functions of a robot. I shouldn't have to manually manipulate. I'll show you what I mean. So let's turn it off.
See you later.
All right, so if I hadn't closed that door, it would have been collapsed in here and potentially broken. So that's one issue. Another issue is now to turn it back on, I've got to lift this up and reach in here and turn it on. And, you know, he's all floppy because his motors are turned off. But let's turn it back on. All right, let's see what he does. Yeah, and he falls over. And this is one of the issues that I've had with Robosen. That's one of the issues I've had with Robosen from the beginning is why can't it shut down and turn back on and be stable? Right? That's what it should be able to do. Also, having the button in here, especially when he folds over and covers up the button, you know, not a great choice. So for that reason, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 partial recommendation. Those seem like simple, straightforward things that could be fixed. I don't understand why on their 4th figure they still haven't gotten that. So yeah, even though I love this thing, I love the way it looks, I love how it transforms, I love the voice. That's a simple thing that needs to be fixed. But that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Sam Scott Roberts for making this available to me, and we'll see you next time.